This is Suneera Madhani.
Without much further ado, I'd like to welcome Suneera.
Hi, I'm Suneera Madhani, a mom of two, daughter of an immigrant, and an unlikely entrepreneur who built a billion-dollar business. Yes, billion. Now I'm doing it again and building my second unicorn, Worth. Shockingly, less than 2% of female founders ever reach 1 million in revenue, and I'm on a mission to change that. At CEO School, we mentor thousands of women to help them level up in business and in life. We believe that you deserve to have it all because honestly, nothing bad happens when women make more money. Grab a seat because class is officially in session. Welcome to CEO School. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the CEO School podcast. I'm your host, Suneera Madhani. I am so excited for today's episode because we have Aleen Dreksler on the show, and she is the CEO of Betches Media, which, of course, we all know of Betches Media. If you're a millennial woman, you know exactly who Betches Media is. They have built the most incredible social content. It's a media company, and we get to pick her brain on all things media today. I'm so super pumped to welcome her. She started her journey right out of college with three of her best friends, went to Cornell, did not go down the corporate path, and decided to create content. And from there ended up building this massive media empire, which sold for multi-millions to LBG Media. Today, we're going to talk all things content, her journey, and her advice on what she sees as the future of content, which you know I'm excited to get into. So let's get into the show. This is going to be a great one. I am so excited to pick your brain, Aleen, because you built Betches Media and built it with your besties. Like, there's so many parts of your story that I want to dig deep into as a woman, as a founder, as someone who wants to stay relevant on social and all the things. So I'm so excited for you to be here. You've had tremendous success in not only building this media empire, exiting it, still staying on as CEO, still working with your friends, creating so many net new products from it. So all the things, let's begin. How did you come up with Betches?
Well,
how did it happen?
Thank you for all of that. Like you said, I started Betches with my two closest childhood friends. Like, we didn't even go to college, only college together. We were friends since we were 10 years old. So, but we happened to go to college together, and we lived together our senior year, and this is 2011. And I was never studying business. I was pre-med, and my friends and I, we always fancied ourselves as funny, and we were always very creative, and we were thinking about writing a TV show. Like, we were just very creative. And at that time, in 2011, the social media platforms we had were Facebook, and the algorithm was truly just chronological. And during that time, what we were seeing online was really a lot of male bro-y humor, but there was really none of that for women. Like, online, it was mostly like cutesy, girly stuff. And the three of us, we were in a sorority, and that was heightened to the 10th degree that, like, women were expected to be these perfect things that have no flaws, and we just always have to be a certain way. And we rejected that completely, down to our core. But at the same time, on television, we were seeing comedians like Chelsea Handler. We were seeing Amy Poehler and Tina Fey make Mean Girls, and Rihanna was just like this unapologetic, like, pop star. And we were like, we align with you, and why isn't there anything like that online for women like us? And again, but when I say women, I mean like kids. We were 21. So we were like, let's start a blog and be completely anonymous because we wanted jobs after school. And
that's good advice.
Yeah. We were like, we're going to be, but the reason why that is actually important is because we were writing extremely authentically, like, because we didn't want to be attached to it, but we felt like, let's just be as truthful and funny as possible. And we weren't really even we were making fun of ourselves at the end of it. It was very self-deprecating, complete satire. And we were talking about women, again, 21-year-olds, and why are we the way that we are? We're flawed, funny, imperfect people. And we had a friend posted on another friend's Facebook wall because, again, we didn't want it traced to us, and it went truly viral. And viral in the most organic sense, like people were
Do you remember that post? Like, was it a particular post?
Yeah, our first post, it was called Talking Shit, and it was like making fun of how women talk shit about each other and ourselves. And it's just like the number one thing people do. And they find it fun and funny, and it's both mean and people enjoy it. It's gossip.
Yeah.
So, but we wrote it in such like a satirical way that, and again, like I said, it was anonymous. People were posting in each other's Facebook walls being like, is this you? Like, how do you know me so well? Like, how can you see into my soul and exactly what we do? And what we didn't realize that we were doing is because we were writing so authentically, we were capturing women, like millennial women at the time. Again, it was 21. We were 21 in 2011. Capturing millennial women and our behaviors at like our core and our most authentic selves before we even called millennial women.
Yeah, I am that woman.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking about ourselves, and it turned out we were talking about so many, the experience of so many across our entire country. And yeah, it just kind of flew off from there.
I mean, it's so simple as that. I mean, you pretty much invented what social media is like today, because all I do is send funny memes and reels still to my friends at midnight. Like, that is literally what I live to do. I live to do this every day. I think I'm the funniest person ever. I'm always finding like the thing, the whatever, sending it to the right people, and it brings me so much joy. You create, like, that is in essence what you had done when everyone was like, here, look at my pet on social media in chronological order. That's incredible. That's amazing. Okay. Now, so it didn't just let's not just fast forward to be like, great, first meme goes viral or first post goes viral, turns into a, $30+ million exit. Let's dive deep into when did you start to monetize this? When did you know you had something?
So I guess the first way that we monetized was not digitally, is we got a book deal from Simon & Schuster right after summer, like right after the summer we graduated.
And so they just called you. They're like, hey, would you want to do this?
No, we had a friend whose older brother was an agent, and he saw that this was going viral, and he knew that it was us. And he put us in touch with a book agent who's amazing, still friends. And she said, like, this would be a great proposal, put it together. And we had the advice that solidify your IP now. That's what's most important. Make this really meaningful. Make it yours. And we were like, okay. At the end, at that time, we had no clue what IP meant, but we understood at its core, like, okay, we need to make our business ours. We need to make it not something that still lives online and it's a fleeting moment. It's something more impactful and has legs to stand on. So we took that advice. Summer after college, I had to tell my parents I was going to take a year off and work on this. They were like, well, if you're getting a book deal, I guess it's slightly legit, but it is called Betches. So I have no clue what's going on there. So that's what we did. And we published our first book, and that was the first money that we saw. Amount of money was the advance to the book. And then after that, that same agent gave us the advice that we should really be posting every single day. Post something every day, and don't stray. Don't get lazy. Just do that, because again, you will reap the benefits later.
That's good advice. That's still good advice. Post every day. It's still good advice.
I still go by that. Like, I just, I was planning to tell you later, but I just launched a Substack, and I knew that it was going to be hard work. And I have, on top of all of the things, I have 2 small children. I'm the CEO of my business. And I knew, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make time for it. But every week I'm like, oh, I have to do this week. But I remember, I'm like, you must be consistent, and you cannot do that to your audience. You made a commitment, and stick to it. And it was the same thing then. And it's both for your audience and for you. And so that's what we kept doing. And we were posting, and it started to get bigger and bigger. And again, it was still just a website. And then when we saw people started to use Instagram, but we took the handle at Betches, didn't use it. We sat on it. until I think it was about like 2013 when it started to really become a platform on which we spent our time as the demographic that we were writing and creating content for. And so that's when we started to transform our written content into meme content and translate our humor into, and our voice into image form, which was difficult because nobody knew what memes weren't called memes then. It was just, here's a picture and it had words. But what it was is that you were just translating an emotion that we can, a relatable emotion that we could all kind of feel and
connect over.
Yeah. Connect over. That we had our blog, we did the same thing. Then we did the same thing on IG. And yeah, we started to monetize that more than we did the website because we had no clue how to monetize a website, to be honest. We really had no clue. And then we found a third-party sales group that helped us figure out how to monetize it at that time.
I think it's just so risky and so bold and so amazing that you three were just like, let's just do this. Let's go and do this. And we're just going to post and we're going to create amazing content. Did you have an end in mind of like, this is what it would look like in building the business? Or did that just naturally form? When were those like tough conversations with your co-founders? Like, hey, I'm sure there were many when you've got the three of you went to Cornell. Right. So, I mean, they're like, you're here to like, you need to take care of your life. Like, when did that kind of happen to say, like, I'm sure to bring me back to those early moments, because I think people forget how much as a founder, there is that level of risk. There are these bold moves. There are these moments where you're not eating, like you're literally not taking home $1 to go like, just give it your best to show up every day. What were those moments and conversations like? And when were those happening?
Oh, yeah. No, we weren't making any money in the beginning for years. But we really believed in the product that we were making and the brand. Like the brand, the thing that we were good at is knowing our audience and knowing how to make our audience laugh, feel moved in a certain way, in which that, in a way that wasn't condescending, like we were telling them what to do. It was like, we're in it with you, because that's how we felt. We're like, well, we don't know anything, but like, we're all trying to figure it out together. And that was the tone and the voice that we carried through, but we had no clue really we weren't business people. And we just had the belief in the brand. And we were like, okay, if we're not going to figure out how to like monetize this in a way that we see all of these companies like BuzzFeed figuring out making millions and millions of dollars. And we're like, we don't know how to do it that way. So we're going to do it the way that we know how, is just believe in the brand and build the brand, and the money will come. The conversations that we had were like, okay, we need to make some money. The money needs to start coming. So we had to make so we would, we were younger. So we were like kind of screwing around. We just knew we had to post every day, but we weren't like business people. Like my dad was like, you guys need to be working at least 80 hours a week as entrepreneurs. We're like, 80 hours? We were kids. And there was one conversation I remember all of us being like, all right, we need to take this seriously and if we want this to be our careers, not just our jobs, it needs to be serious and not just fun all the time, because we were having a lot of fun. And that's when it happened. We were like, all right, let's buckle down. Who's CEO? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And it was tougher because the three of us were creatives. It wasn't like if you were to start a company now, you'd find a co-founder who did the opposite of what you did. We all sort of did a lot of the same things. So the benefit of being friends for so long was that we each knew each other's strengths and weaknesses and grew together as that happened. And so we learned to let go of certain things so that we could specialize a bit. And then we just started to make money because we were so dedicated to doing it. We were like, let's give it a shot. Like, what's the worst? This is the time. We have no responsibilities really, besides figuring out how to pay for an apartment. I think that that's such an important point. I feel like
you should be taking, like, if you're listening here and you are in your 20s, like, take all the risk, girlfriend. Like, take every risk ever, because you really don't have, you can make up for that lost time.
Absolutely.
Now going into my 40s, I've got 2 kids. Like, I don't know if I could go build the company that I did. I was like, I moved into my parents' house. I didn't need much money. Like, it was a different time. And now, I mean, you still have to take risks and do these things to be successful, but it's so much harder when you're in these next stages of growth and in life. And I fully understand, like, where you're like, hey, we just have to, like, buckle up, because in order for it to be, like, the first thing is, like, you got to post every day, you got to do the thing. And then there is that seriousness of, like, okay, this is what, like, success looks like. This is what business needs to look like. I'm curious, working with your besties, that sounds like that's hard, and not a lot of people can do that. I'm sure you, like, I work with my brother. We fight all the time. Like, when I tell you, we're, like, at each other's throats all the time, but I also trust him the most. I love him the most. And we're such an easy, like, makeup. Like, it's also like, the way that we could talk to each other. I would never talk to my husband the way I could talk to my brother. Like, it's
of course.
So quick and fast, and, like, it's mean and it hurts. But at the same time, like, we're siblings and we get over it really, really quickly, because he's my childhood friend. Was that similar to what those dynamics were like? And I'm stuck with my brother. So there's, like,
right.
I can't get rid of him. How are you guys still so close? And business is hard. Like, how did you get through that?
Yeah, business is hard. I mean, so is maintaining friendships.
Yeah.
We just learned how to, I guess, care for both relationships. When we were with our other friends, we tried not to talk about work, and we tried to compartmentalize a little bit. Of course, if we start, we'd go. But we wanted to make sure that our relationships felt, strong on both ends. Like, we're strong co-founders and we're strong friends. And we definitely fought. Like, there's no way to go about that. But it was also interesting because there's 3 of us. So there's always one person who was the tiebreaker.
Yes.
And that in itself could be a dynamic that's studied forever. They say don't do things in 3s, but I thought it really was quite helpful, because one person was the one who was like, I agree with you. And then we do it.
I know that exact dynamic, because we had a 3rd co-founder, and Jacques would always break the tie. And then we would always try to win him over, because, like, we'd be, like, at each other, and we'd, like, always try to, like, triangulate to get him on each other's side. But having a third or a third party perspective, even if you have a co-founder and it's just, whether it's a friend or whether it's whatever, it is nice. Two opinions when there's, like, one decision to make, it's kind of opposing. But when you have that third party perspective, whether it's another co-founder or someone else that can break the tie, that does make it a lot easier. I know that feeling. That's a good feeling.
We just really, exactly, but we really had to figure out how to communicate with each other. We'd had business coaches over the years to help mediate bigger problems. Because at the end of the day, we were like, we're not going anywhere, right? The business isn't going anywhere. We care about the success of the business. This is where all of our wealth is sitting. So our relationship needs to be good. And we needed to invest in that, and is figuring out how to talk through things like adults and deal with things that you would normally brush under the rug, maybe. So it was because we all were on the exact same page about the fact that the business was our baby. It was our joint baby. And we needed to care for it because we wanted it to succeed. We wanted to go off to college. And so we needed to put in the work to make sure that it would do well.
Solid advice. I love that advice. It's solid advice. Okay. I want to shift gears a bit, and media company, there's so much, how do you stay relevant? There's so much happening all the time. How did you stay relevant? What are some, what do you foresee? I want to go into the media part of the business. So many of us, as entrepreneurs now, know that we've got to build community, that we've got to, we've got podcasts, we've got newsletters. I have a newsletter, I have a podcast, so many women listening. There's so much to do. We've got all the channels. What advice do you have? Where should we focus? How do we keep our audience together, engaged? What's the future of all of this? Just give me your brain on like content right now. So much of it.
Yeah. It's pretty insane how content has evolved over all of these years, like through the evolution of technology and the platforms, the social platforms that have come and gone, and the actual amount of content now that we are used to consuming all day on all sizes of screens. I would say the advice I would have for, let's say, a creator creating content would be focus on what is your core message and what medium do you think that message will be best received by somebody. And by received, I mean, like, what do you want that person to do with that message? Do you want them to go act and, whatever? Are you giving advice? Like, what do you want that person to feel? And then do. And I think then from there, make that your, like, the core of your content, the core creation of that core platform. Let's say long form content via podcast is your best form. I would say if you're better at speaking, make that your content medium. But if you're a better writer, go on Substack. Start writing there. Make content that way. There's so many different types of platforms. There's so different types of content that people want to do and make.
You don't have to do it all. So that's kind of what I'm hearing. Don't do it all. I'm just saying,
like, you do have to distribute everywhere. What I'm trying to say is that you don't need that core place to be all over the place, because you're going to get so scattered and frazzled. Like, stick to one at first and then think about a distribution strategy for your core message, rather than do this here, do that here, do that here, do this here. Like, start with one message, one thing that you want people to feel from you. That could be, you can distribute that message however you say, like however you want, whether that's, you have different types of skits or formats or whatever it is. But I would say start with one core thing that you go with, and then distribute on other channels. Does that make sense? Do you feel like I just said something so obvious?
No. It's good to hear. It's true. We don't have to do it all. Pick your message. Do it through that medium.
And I also would say, and I say this a lot, and this is why I attribute the success that Betches has had to this day, is keep your voice extremely consistent as much as you can. Consistency is key. Don't let your audience down, because at the end of the day, make what you're making for the audience and not for yourself. So, like, when you want someone to do something, don't just tell them, like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. Like, what is it? What are you doing for them? Like, if you want, don't make this like a one-way transactional relationship. You have to think of your relationship with your audience as like a real relationship. You have one with people. And that's what we have done since day one. And that's what I was saying, is the voice has been so consistent since day one. The voice that we created was one that was extremely colloquial, one that was personal, intimate. You're talking like a person, not like a marketing firm, not like a big corporation. You're talking. Oh my God, my Long Island just came out. You're talking like a person. So that was always the way that we communicated. And again, it was for the audience, because we're like, we need to make you move in some way emotionally. And that's how you do it.
I love this so much. This is so helpful and so intriguing.
What
do you see as the future? No, this is so good. I want to be friends. Like, I really, let's be friends. Oh my God, you're so awesome. This is so great. What do you see as now the future of content? Now that there's so much, it's everywhere. Do you have, like, you're in it. What foresight can you give all of us, entrepreneurs that are trying to do, like, we're trying to do this thing. Like, we know it's important. We're picking our platforms. We're talking to our audience. What's your sage advice here for us? All these platforms are constantly moving. Right now, I would take it seriously that everybody's trying to take TikTok's share of voice. Instagram is trying to make it so that creators will want to create on Instagram, and they're making the algorithm an environment in which it is easy to pop off, as they say, like the way that it was in early days TikTok. And Instagram is introducing so many different tools for you to do that, like those trial reels and ways in which you can grow both new audience and engage with your current audience.
So now is really the time. If you feel like, oh, it's too late, it's really not too late.
Okay,
because
good. I want to hear that. That's good to know.
It's not too late, because if you think about it, all of these businesses, Meta has a chief of marketing who wants new audience members. They want more creators who create more content that creates more watch time. They're competing not just with Snap and TikTok. They're competing with Netflix. It's watch time. Everybody's competing for watch time. So think about it like that. It's never too late if you want to be a creator and if that's the job that you want. In terms of the content that you want to make, I would stick to, don't corner yourself or pigeonhole yourself into something that you think is going to do well. Do what is so authentic to you, because you will always find an audience. And the thing that I've most recently learned as I try to make content for myself, or thinking about making content for myself, everyone says that you're going to be cringe. So you will be cringe. I think we all have to just get
comfortable with it.
Comfortable with being cringe. I need to get comfortable with that, because I'm not. And, do you know how hard it is for me? Like, even me, who I've been doing this for 14 years. I've been doing a podcast, a long time, since 2016. And I still have trouble listening to my own voice or watching myself back. Like, it is tough. Like, it's not easy. So I would just remember that everybody's on that same boat, and we're all facing it together. And, we all are second guessing ourselves, and just do it.
Just do it anyway.
Just do it, Nike.
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it anyway. I literally have had so many conversations, and somebody quoted me on this. I recently was said, embrace the cringe, because I look back at my videos, I look back at my outfit, I look back at everything, and I'm gonna cringe. That's a good thing. That means I'm growing, I'm evolving.
Yes.
That's a good thing. We have to learn to embrace the cringe, and you got to go for it. That's the only way. I love you so much. This is so helpful. And maybe I just needed to hear this shit today, because it's hard. You're doing all the things, and it's not
embarrassing sometimes. It feels
good
so
enough
embarrassing. But at the same time, what is embarrassing, and what does that actually mean? You're doing something that makes you uncomfortable, but why are you doing it in the first place? If you're aligned with why you're doing it in the first place, then that discomfort is fine. It's welcome. You should welcome it. There is no growth in the comfortable, and that's the thing that you have to face. So if you do know that you are feeling really embarrassed with whatever you're making, ask yourself, okay, am I aligned with the thing that I am trying to make? If I feel like that is the path to whatever goal I have, or whatever I have on my vision board, if you have one, then you just have to push through, and then you'll come out.
It. I love it. One more question. I know you have to go.
No worries.
I would love to know, how do you get into your creative zone? So what's that creative process like? We all experience that creative block or the writer's block. How do you get into your creative zones? Is there secrets? Tell us.
I have no secrets. It's tough for me because my day is I'll go from having a finance meeting to a HR meeting about whatever's going on in the company, to long-term strategy meeting, to then having to record a podcast for my own company, talking about Justin Baldoni, and then going off to talk about it just goes and goes and goes. I've just kind of welcomed that flow. But if I am doing something particularly creative where I have to think, it's really just creating space. You have to find a moment where you're not going. I found I just went on vacation for the first time in a really long time with my husband without kids. I wouldn't say that long, but it was the first time. And I brought my journal, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to create some prompts before I go on this vacation that I would like to solve for myself, thinking moments. And that's how I kind of got myself into the creative. I was in a different environment, and I came out with some good ideas. The same, I said, I launched a Substack for I answer questions from people who write in, my followers or fans that write in to ask questions about career, motherhood, all of those things. And it's completely free. And I did that intentionally. But when I was coming up with what I was going to write or what I was going to do, I also needed to I blocked my calendar completely. And I just wrote, I Canva'd, I did whatever. Sometimes I like to sit on Pinterest and look at pictures because I'm a very visual person. That makes me feel creative. I think, again, a lot has to do with you knowing yourself and knowing how you process information, and getting into that zone and living in it for a little bit. Yeah, longer than 30 minutes.
I love it. I think that that's really practical. I do feel the exact same way of what you're referencing, of like it's really tough to find those moments. And so just kind of embrace that it is chaotic. It is what that is. Find those moments even during, like, you just got to do it anyway. And then when you can break away for some space, I love that you're like, and be intentional with that. And then that can energize you for like the next quarter. Like, I don't know who has the time to go lock themselves in like a cabin for 4 days in the middle of the woods. Like, we've got kids, we've got lives, we've got finance and HR meetings. Like, it's just not going to happen. Super practical advice. Aleen, how can we support you? Now you're on your next journey as CEO, still as CEO, but part of a bigger company. I'd love to have you back. There's so much of this conversation that's like we're like untold. How can we support you and find you and learn more from you? This has been so fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I would love to come back. You can follow me at Aleen, Aleen. You can subscribe to my Substack. It's Please Advise on Substack. It's also in my bio on my Instagram. And you can follow all things Betches. It's at Betches. We recently launched Betches Sports, which is sports for women, not just women's sports. I'm going to quickly pitch this. Here I go.
Let's do it.
Basically, the idea behind Betches Sports was that we saw that women were really like a majorly ignored audience for sports. All sports content was really made for men, but women watch just as much sports. And we wanted to create a space for that. So we celebrate women's sports, male sports, all of those things. So that's at Betches Sports. That's what
I love it. All the things. I'll be linking all the things. Aleen, thank you so much. It was so wonderful. I can't wait to have you back. We'll be linking everything in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm having so much fun recording the show from the house. We are celebrating 5 years as a community, as CEO School Podcast. It's hard, y'all, to show up every week for a show. I am so, so, so proud of being able to show up here, deliver incredible content, bring in the most incredible guests, and none of this could be possible without you tuning in every week and listening and being my motivation, being my why. I just want to love on you and just say I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here for another week with me. It means the absolute world. And if you enjoyed today's show, if you enjoy the podcast, let me know. You know my love language is words of affirmation and quality time. This is where I get to spend quality time with you. So screenshot this episode, tag us on social. I'd love for you to share it with your friends and leave us a review. This is how we grow. 5 years, and just, I'm so proud. I love all of you, and I hope to see you next week on CEO School. Bye.